In this video, we are going to load in a PDF file as our background file. And normally you would hopefully have a CAD file, which gives you a little bit more flexibility in things that you can do. But in some instances, you may not have a CAD file. You may not have a CAD department that's creating DWGs and point files and things for you. So with the addition of importing a PDF file, that gives you the flexibility to simply take the PDF that the general contractor or the engineer, whoever has given you, and you can load that PDF right into Trimble Field Link. Now there are some caveats to the PDF. It only takes a vector PDF and not a raster PDF. The difference is a vector PDF is typically created by some sort of graphics program like AutoCAD or Revit in this example. Uh, a raster PDF or raster PDF is something that typically gets scanned. And we don't let you use those because there's a lot of inconsistencies with those that we just can't account for. So to get started, I'll kind of show you how this works. I'm going to create a new job. So I'm going to go into Jobs, and I'm going to go into Manage, and I'm going to go and Create. Now I'm going to call this simply New Job Number 3, which is my next one in line. You guys can call it whatever you want. I'll hit Create, and now we've got a new job. Now there's nothing in it. Okay, there's no points in it. There's no background file. So this is where we start. We're going to go to More, and we're going to go to Import, Jobs, and Import. And now we can look for a PDF. Now I happen to have a PDF file. Let me search to it here in my Google Drive and my videos and files for videos. And I have a sample PDF mech room that is a PDF. And you can see typically we're looking for BLDG or DWG files, but now we can do PDFs. So I'm going to select on the PDF and I'm going to say import it. Now, it's going to ask you for a scale. Well, you need to know the scale of this PDF. That helps tremendously. If it doesn't have a scale, we actually give you the ability to enter in a custom scale, but that's a little bit of trial and error. So it works best if you know what the scale is. So that's a good question. What is the scale? So if I go to More here and Minimize, so I can go and find that particular scale, that particular file. And if I open up this file, this PDF, here's my PDF. And if I zoom in down to, typically it's in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that the scale of this PDF happens to be 1/8 of an inch. So now that I know what my scale is, I can go back into Trimble Field Link and click on here and say import, and when it asks me for the scale, sure enough, 1/8 inch equals a foot, and I can say import. Now this does take a little bit of time to import the file depending on the size of the file, but it doesn't usually take too long. And it says file is imported, and now essentially you're ready to go. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to More, and I'm going to go to the map so we can see what we're dealing with. I'm going to hit Zoom Extents, and here we have the PDF that was brought in. Now because it was a PDF, basically what we're dealing with is simple line geometry. Okay, we take the PDF and we explode it down to basic elements, lines. And some of the text comes through okay, some of the text comes through really weird, and some of the text doesn't come through at all. So those are just some of the caveats that you have to deal with when we're doing this conversion process. Keep in mind, if there is some text that you need to read that's showing up undesirably in TFL, you can always go back to the the PDF, and open it up and look at it. So I'm going to zoom in. And one of the things that we want to do here is we want to verify that the drawing did indeed get brought in at the correct scale. So luckily I've got a couple reference points here. I know that these two lines should be 20 feet apart. So what I'm going to do to verify that is I'm going to go to Create, and I'm going to go to From Model, and this allows me to create an endpoint. So I can simply pick the endpoint of this line and the endpoint of that line, and I can create 2 points. Now I know that those 2 points should be 20 feet apart, and to verify that I'm going to go into More, in Compute, and I can snap a dimension from point 102 that I created and point 103. And sure enough, they're 20 feet. So now I know that I brought in my PDF as a background file. It is now scaling correctly. I've verified that. So now I can go back to create from model if I want to, and I can start creating points. For example, if these were equipment pads that needed a endpoint on them, I could simply go to my endpoint here. I could pick the window, pick, and grab all of these equipment pads, and it will put not a control point, excuse me, it'll put me a point on the corner of all those equipment pads, and I can hit create. And if I know that I've got some control points, maybe I've got a control point in the corner here of this grid intersection, once again, I can, instead of picking endpoints, I can pick intersections, and I'll grab just that intersection, and I can create a control point there. So you've got options now for creating a bunch of points on this line work from the PDF.